I gotta say, I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about having lost some respect for DIRECT. You know, I've had a weird personal, like, back and forth, I guess, about the whole First Amendment auditor thing. Like, I respect the hell out of those guys. I think what they do is amazing. Inspirational, like super inspirational. And I think DIRECT is one of the best. But I'm not really sure how. He had a live feed going today, and I actually saw one of my watchers on his feed. And first of all, I didn't really understand how he was live and it was light outside. I'm in Michigan, and as far as I knew, he was on the West Coast. But I know he's hiding out too. Maybe he's on the East Coast. Not really sure, but it was light in his video and it was dark here in Michigan. It was like 6:30 or something a.m. And the stream had been going for 2 hours, I believe, already, and he was talking about it's interesting how the I just wonder, like his video isn't about cop watching anymore. His channel, it's about a beef with this Lane, whatever the fuck his name is, guy. And I can't imagine the shit he deals with. I would, when you're directly going against the cops in your own city and shit like that has to be difficult. And like I say, what they do is incredible. But why did I title my video as I did? So I'm watching the live stream, and he's talking about free speech and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, well, first I said fuck Israel, and you can see, like, in the live chat where you're writing, you can see the comments, and then he has another thing up on the screen, another, like, version of the chat up on the screen. I don't know how all that shit works. I'm not tech savvy at all. But I noticed the comment doesn't show up. And then the comment disappears from where I'm looking at it. That's weird. So then I specifically said, well, if you talk bad about Israel and the Jays, your freedom of speech will be, eliminated, and your channel will go from 20K views down to 200. And then that one was removed. And I said, so are my comments being removed? And then I don't understand. I don't understand that at all. Like, what's going on? DIRECT is censoring comments? DIRECT, Mr. Free Speech, Mr. First Amendment is censoring comments? I thought, what the fuck? And of course it gets my wheels turning, as things always do. And I just can't help but wonder, like I've always had that love-hate relationship with the First Amendment thing, because like I know the system I'm in, and the system I'm in doesn't allow things, good morning, Matt, doesn't allow things that that potentially hurt the system to succeed. And, you know, I've broken down in the past, like, I get why First Amendment auditors are not only allowed to exist on YouTube, but, you know, make really good money and whatnot. And it's because it generates an incredible amount of revenue for the police, for the system. You know, again, I've said these things before, but I use this example all the time, right? So Dave Chappelle did a comedy tour. And at the end of the comedy tour, at the end of each show, he would come back on the stage and he would just be like, all right, you know, 10, 20 minutes, guys, ask me some questions and I'll do my best to answer questions while making you laugh. And so, you know, it's all the typical kind of shit, blah, blah, blah. And then this Indian dude stands up and he says, do you have any advice for somebody who wants to start doing comedy and has never done it before? And Dave's like, what do you mean? You've never done, what makes you think you could, are you funny or something? You know, I don't remember the actual banter back and forth, but he says, the guy says, well, you make it look so easy that I want to give it a try. And Dave says, wow, I don't know to be upset or take that as a compliment. And the reality is it is a compliment, right? Good morning, Roger, or Oliver. I'm hoping that Craig Casey guy comes on here because he was the guy I saw on DirectE's feed today. But the truth is, because Dave makes comedy look so effortless, because he's so good at it. Craig's here. It makes people think they can do it. And they can't do it. That Indian guy's not going to fucking get up there and be Dave Chappelle. And I think that's what guys like DirectE do. They make it look like it's really easy to do what he does. And people don't understand just how intelligent he has to be. And how, you know, how well-versed he has to be in what he does to be as good as he is. So because people just see it and think, oh, well, he can do it, I can do it, they go out there and try to do it and get themselves arrested. It creates more revenue for the system. Not to mention, they basically broadcast police misconduct and brutality and shit. Shit you would never know even happened. Reinforcing how normal it is. You know, it's normal for us to run into unprofessional police because we see that interaction all the time on these videos. You know, I don't know about you guys, but if I happen to see like a professional cop or I run into one or whatever, I'm always kind of surprised by it. You know, I had to call the cops 2 weeks ago over a really, really scary situation. And it took everything I could to not be like, hey, fuck you, stop being such a dickhead. Because he was being a dickhead. And he was like, sir, I need you to calm down. And I was like, dude, are you fucking, this isn't a me, I am calm down. The fact that I'm being like this right now and not yelling, I am calm. But going back to DirectE, did you see my comments this morning, Craig? Did you see how they got removed from his page, from his chat? And I can't imagine the system is removing my comments. I think he was removing my comments. Because every time I would comment, you'd see him look like you could see that he clicks something to make the comments go from the chat up onto the screen. He decides which chats go on the screen. So he clearly was deciding mine weren't going, but he was also removing them. I just can't believe free speech direct D is violating my is denying my free speech. And at the end of the day, we're fighting the same enemy. He's just fighting the you know the lieutenants and shit like that. I'm trying to fight the fucking captains, the chiefs. I'm trying to fight the people who decide what those cops are allowed to do. You know, Direct D is exposing the surface layer and maybe even a little bit deeper. But at the end of the day, the real, you know, the real focus should be on why do things need to be changed? Why does so much in our reality need to be changed? It didn't accidentally get this way. You know, it was manufactured to be this way through years of programming and manipulation. And so when you know, Direct D is pointing out these cops that violate all this shit, and you watch these videos where these cops have no fear. They're not worried about Direct D doing the thing that bugs them. Like you see this a lot with cops now, is they'll be like, "You're just trying to bait us." Well, yeah, sure, fine. Take the bait then, dumbass. But you know, I don't know, I'm a little shocked. Like, it's one thing, I guess, to not allow my comments to be on the page, but to remove them, that just seems very anti-free speech. You should do whatever the fuck you want to do. Don't listen to people on here when it comes to shit like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Craig, what do you think? You were watching the feed. What do you think of what I'm saying? What do you think of the whole... I usually am, Oliver. Yeah, I usually am. What do you think of the whole idea of... It you know, the first time I really realized what was, you know, like the fucked up part about YouTube. Like, I obviously... I personally know what YouTube does when you're not, like, it's not even a question. You can go back to January 27th and earlier, and you'll see this exact same feed with numbers that don't make sense. I shouldn't have those numbers for a guy in my position. I saw messages disappear from time to time, but I didn't notice it was you. Yeah, because my shit was gone immediately. And it'd be one thing if it was just one of my messages, but...
Natural hot springs that just were carved out of...
It's not natural. I mean, it's just like everything else. Like, how many different times do you need to experience that feeling of, there's no fucking way we could do this? Especially not however many years ago. You know, even shit like the Grand Canyon. Why does that look like a quarry? You know, why aren't there Grand Canyons all over the place that look the same? It's the shadow banning thing I was talking about. Yeah, dude, I'm well knowledgeable on shadow banning. The funniest thing about shadow banning is, I don't know, it was in early 2023 or late 2022 maybe. I'm not really sure when it was, but it was somewhere around there. Like I always tell you, the Israelis are really stupid, right? They're open the books on Israel and you demonize Israel, stupid. The Israelis are putting out articles at the time talking about how social media groups are shadow banning anyone who supports Israel. Which wasn't fucking true at all. But they're so dumb that they don't realize that they're acknowledging the shadow banning that they've denied. You know, whenever anybody says that somebody that speaks out against Israel gets shadow banned, then it's like, oh, you're such a conspiracy theorist, shadow banning. But then they acknowledge that they do it. And the fact that you have to be told that they do it just says everything. They provide the system. If you think the providers of the system can't influence the system, I just don't even know what to do. I don't know what to say. I never had one of my own disappear. Exactly. Exactly. So what does that say? What does that mean about Direct D? Did we ever even bother to question why there are certain guys that are allowed to make money? I mean, Direct D gets a really great salary from YouTube. All those guys that didn't get what happened to me, and that's the thing. We know that YouTube is capable of shutting down someone they don't like. So, what do you think happened? What do you think that means? I don't know. I really don't know. I would think if Direct D was a plant, it would have been exposed, but I don't know. You know, I know it all feels really weird. And it also shows you, like, if YouTube is going to pay people to do that and shut down people like me, it shows you what the real issue is. It shows you what they're really scared of. They're not scared of you going out there and bragging for the cops, because that's all we're doing. People just don't realize that shit. Yeah. For a couple of days, maybe a week, the phone calls are going to come into the station and they're going to get bothered by the public. But we have a very short attention span. And once the next thing that catches our mind comes up, we'll start calling the next facility. We'll start calling that. It'll disappear. They'll have to deal with less and less phone calls by the day. And that's basically the only sort of fuck. That's the only sort of negative they get from it. Where's the hole? I've said that before. Feels like there's a hole somewhere. You know, I admire Direct D. Like, that's one of those guys that I actually dig. I guess I assume he's not racist, but I really don't like. It's funny, white people don't like when I say things like this, but the arrogance in you thinking that you have a better perspective on it than I do is laughable. Because, you know, I can say that in my life there are very, very few white people that I honestly believe aren't racist. They don't have some sort of racist in them. And a great example of that, if you're walking down the street and you come to like an alley and you look down the street and there's two guys and there's a black guy and a white guy and they're sort of fighting and both of them are yelling help, who are you going to help? And I think most of us would help the person who looks like us, which is, you know, just our fucked up programming. But, you know, like I say, I've experienced it. I know what it's like when white people think they're safe. You do too. Assuming that you're just a white person, so they start talking like they do amongst themselves. And they start dropping N-bombs and they start saying horrible, stupid shit. How do you admire another man? Because I'm secure? Are you fucking stupid? Well, insecure, obviously. I'm not gay. If you gotta tell people all the time that you're not gay, you're probably gay. I couldn't care less if you call me gay. If you think I don't care. What the fuck do I care? It's not an insult. That's the thing. We've been raised to believe that it's an insult for you to be gay because you're not man enough. I would imagine most of us would cry taking some back shots. Especially, some guys can get kind of rough. Yeah. Our gay friend said that. And it just, ow. Ouch. That's a tough I don't have. Huh? Right. I don't even have them. It just goes. That's all that happens. I try, and I'm just like, no, I don't need to see that. I don't need that. I don't know. I've said it to Direct D a bunch of times. Like, and I think I actually got to him. Because it's always funny. Like, guys like that, anytime it's a big time social media person who has a lot of attention like that. Like, I've commented many, many things that were like positive and whatnot and didn't get a response. But when I called him out, he was quick to respond. And he was like, you could tell he knows he's wrong. That's why he's responding so quickly and, whatnot. But he used to have the, only gay cops pull me over or something like that. And I said to him, dude, like, you're a fucking hero. Like, why would you try to alienate a large portion of your potential audience? You're costing yourself a lot of money potentially, but a lot of support from an entire community that knows what it's like to be oppressed. So I don't know. I don't know what Direct D is like as a person. You think that maybe this Direct D Lane Myers thing is some kind of planned out sting? I don't understand why Direct D would be so focused on it. Not about being secure, insecure. It's about false idols. Oh my God. What a fucking Looney Tune, man. The only one you should admire is God. The God that watches children get raped every day, does nothing about it. Yeah, I admire that. Let's talk about Jesus. Unless he's being paid by another source. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. You guys are venturing into my head. And I can tell you, it's not the best place to be. It ruins a lot of shit. Knowing that Jim Morrison's dad was the admiral on the Gulf of the ship used in the Gulf of Tonkin really makes me like question my, I second guess my admiration for the Doors. Not to mention, dude was 27 when he died. I'm almost twice his age, so listening to some whiny brat jump around and cry because, it didn't go my way. It's an interesting thing. But Jim's the man. Jim is the man. Well, when you say stupid shit like false idols, that's religious terminology. So you're giving yourself away. And if you can't, like, again, if you're so insecure that you can't admire things about people, like you're one of those guys where somebody's like, you think that guy's good looking? And you're like, I'm not good. I don't know what a good looking guy looks like. Yeah, you do. You know how you all know what a good looking guy looks like? If you're at a party and the good looking guy shows up, you go, ah, fuck. Because you know he's going to get the chick before you will. That simple. I can see a fucking, a man in I don't know. Can't think of any, but Brad Pitt in Fight Club. I can look at that and be like, damn, I wish my body looked like that. I don't want to fuck him, but I think, goddamn, I wish my body looked like that. That's a nice body. Like, what's wrong with you? You can't do that? He's clearly in opposition. Yeah. How can you say something as religious language? Yeah. False idols? Yeah, that's Bible shit. But I don't idolize anyone. Admiration and idolization are two completely different things. That's why they're different words.
I think Kenzie's a badass. I don't want to fuck her.
I would like to see it, though. But you think the character of Kenzie is a badass because that actress is probably some prissy prima donna.
Yeah. The type of girl that I don't like.
Right. I tell gym bros their physiques looks good all the time. Good for you.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's admiring the human body.
Right.
And it's
that's that's admiring something. You're admiring a false idol.
Whatever. It's not idolizing somebody. It's admiring their hard work, effort, and the results.
All I can say is, do you guys see what I'm talking about?
Stupid.
Do you guys see how people will add words or change what I'm saying so they can make their argument? This is such a common tactic, and you either see it or you don't. I mean, there's just so much of this, and it's so everywhere. And like I say, I love the First Amendment guys. I wish I could do that shit. I think I'd be really good at it. But I have kids at home, and I'm hurt. Can't go out there and fucking do something that requires something like that. The last thing I could deal with is police being shitty. But the funny thing is, if you've been watching my feed for any lengthy period of time, you know that I did this kind of shit before it became a bigger thing. Like, it must have been 2018 or 17. We had this busted ass neighbor. And when they first moved into the house, there was a light on the back door. And the light on the back door was this super bright, like the property owner put the light in there. They were renting out the house. But they installed the light, and it just shone right into my kid's bedroom window. And it was, they were young, so they would wake up and look at the window and just see the light coming through and think it was time to get up. So it was causing an issue. So I went over there. I tried to talk to the guy one time, And I was like, hey, you know, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Hey, is there any way that you can, like, I don't know, like, change the bulb or something on that light? It's just really, really bright. You know, and he was like, what? Safety. And it's like, yeah, this isn't that neighborhood. You got nothing to worry about. But they were, like, really shitty about it. And I was like, oh, okay. So then it happened another couple times where my kids got up. And so I wrote this note. And it wasn't even a bad note. It was just like, can you please do something about the lights? Kids are getting up. It's really an inconvenience. It's not about the adults. It's about the kids. Can we just work together to make the kids easy? You know, like, and I put it on the car window. And so later on, I get this knock on the door, and it's the police. And the cop's like, yeah, you put the note inside her car. And I was like, no. Didn't open up. When did I do that? Her car doors are locked, I would assume. She's really, like, real big on security. And he was like, oh, she was bringing in groceries. And when she brought in the groceries, you ran out there and put the note in her car real quick. And I was like, does that even make sense to you? Like, what's wrong with you? And he was like, Can I see your ID, please? I was like, you need my ID? You just came to my house. Hang on, let me get my phone. And I grabbed my phone, and as I was turning the camera on, you could hear him say, oh, what do you need, a supervisor too? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And he just turned around and walked off. And I was just like, wait, so you're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna get the supervisor? What's going on? Like, and he was a douche. But like, long before I was watching those videos, I would still, like, we still have rights. I wish I could do it, man. I wish I could do that shit. It would be so much fun to put cops in their place like that. I just can't. It's a totally different experience when you haven't done anything wrong and they're just fucking with you and basically, you know, everything that they do could earn you money. If it's a lawsuit, you could win, you know, you could get a lawsuit for it. Drew just deflecting, and the one comment, yes, he did do the crap you just mentioned. Oh yeah, this guy's a dumbass. Right? It's what they always do. This is just another one of those guys who's been here day after day after day, week after week, month after month. Trying to distract and you know, derail the conversation. It's all they ever do. You know, and they don't do it by addressing what's being said. They just say nonsense, or they do that thing. They do the ad hominem thing. If there's anything you take from my feed, it's that. Learn that. Learn to see that. If you could do this in your everyday life, you know, whenever you're talking to anybody and they do the thing where they don't answer your question, or they add to it, or whatever, you already know you're winning. Who's to say how it's going to end up going, you know, going down? He's a failed train. He can't even stay on track. He doesn't have. You know, it's. It's not just something trolls do. It's something everyone does. I use my wife all the time as the example, but it's the same shit. When you don't want to admit that you did something, or you don't want to acknowledge what the person's saying, you'll add words, you'll exaggerate, you'll do whatever. You know, the example I always use is I'll say something specific and just say, oh, so everything's my fault. And it's like, no, not everything, just this thing. But we do that. You know? We all do that shit. You know, I do it. I'm sure I do it. Nobody is perfect, that's for sure. Yeah, but we can try. We can try to be. Like we can do our very best to be the people that we want to see. So that means don't lie to people. You don't want people to lie to you, don't lie to people. You know, the reality is you should do anything, everything, because it's the right thing to do. Whether it's, it's going to benefit you or not, or whether you want someone to treat you that way or not, doesn't matter. If it's the right thing to do, you do it. We had long-standing issues with the neighbor a few houses down. And one day we were out on a walk, and when we came home, we saw on the ground there was mail it was actually from them. It was a payment, like a payment electric bill or something like that, but it was from them to the company, so it had like a check in it or something like that. And we didn't like them. They were douchebags. Not even them, just the dude. But I walked the fucking bill down, and I knocked on the door, and he answers, he's like, "What?" And I handed him the bill, or the mail, and he looked down at it, and he read it, and he was like, "Oh, thanks, man." I was like, "Yeah, that's what neighbors do." And I walked off. And he ended up coming down, either driving by or coming down or whatever, and he stopped, and he's just like, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know that was really cool. Appreciate it. That would have really screwed us if that didn't get there. So thanks a lot." And it's just, that's the right thing to do. Yeah, I could have been, ooh, fuck him. But what if that was something super important? And then his family, his kids were affected and all that shit. Are you kidding me? Who does that shit? Don't be that person. Look at the desperation, right? You saw this the other day with that one dude. With the whole only comment, right? It's the same thing here. So instead of addressing that, you know what, you're right, man, I did do that. I did make an argument you weren't making so that I could argue something. Now it's going to be, oh, this is why your viewers and you smoke too much weed. Oh, that's just what happens. How many different times can I show you? It's pretty embarrassing, right? It's embarrassing that we're all such petulant children on the inside, right? Something happens, and instead of doing the adult thing and acknowledge, hey, you know what? You're right, I did that. I need to stop doing that. Instead of, we always, we do the other thing. We turn into crybabies. We go full on ad hominem. Whenever our negatives are pointed out, we go full on ad hominem. My wife has to, she had to be the best salesperson ever. Because she can do the stare thing like nobody I've ever seen before. If she doesn't like or agree with, she'll just stare at me. And like that I can't stand it. I start talking. And she just stares at me. And I'm like, fucking it. Oh, I hate it so much.
You do? I didn't know.
It's so disrespectful.
It's not meant to be disrespectful.
It is.
Sometimes I just don't have anything to say.
You always have something to say. There's always something.
You think it doesn't mean it has to come out of your mouth.
There's always, right. There's always something that could be said. And you could be an asshole, or you could acknowledge it. And, it's one of those things. Like, you could acknowledge the thing that's being said. But see, you laugh because, again, it must be that 100% of the time, I'm just wrong. You didn't do the thing that I said you just did, and I'm wrong. The only response would be something nasty. You couldn't possibly be like, yeah, fuck, I did that. I'm sorry, whatever, yeah. Like that's, This is everywhere. Big picture, small picture, it doesn't matter. We do this with everything. You know, you have your Trump supporters who see that this man does this and does this and does this and does this. And in reality, a lot of you, you wouldn't do those things. But because
The meme I sent you?
no. But because he yeah, no. But because he says other things that you like, you override it. Or even with the cult, with the J cult. People say that shit all the time, like she's hot. Something about her face. Oh,
Her eyes and cheekbones.
maybe, yeah. It all just works. Fuck what I just saying. I don't know. I know aiming for perfection is the right mindset. Oh yeah, with the J cult. Like people say it all the time. You can't blame the whole cult for what? Yeah, you can. I'm never gonna be like that guy. You know, he might be a pedo, but he gives a lot of money to charity. Like that's not an okay thing. And that's basically the same kind of shit. Yeah, it's Colt. What's up, Colt? Your buddy Trump, huh? Right? Colt's in Canada. Your best buddy Trump. Remember, you were like, he's awesome. He's going to make things so much better.
He's about to invade your country.
Remember how great you think Trump is?
That government health care that you guys so love is about to be gone. Isn't that going to be fun?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, all those people that are used to going to the doctor whenever. And
Yeah, welcome to our world.
Yeah, welcome to hell.
Welcome to everyday pain and suffering.
Auto insurance, all kinds of shit. You guys are about to be fucked. I'm so sorry. We don't want it. The American people don't want it. Just know that. Just that fucking orange-faced dickhead.
I mean, seriously, what benefit would you get from that? Average, everyday person. What benefit do you get? Like, none? Literally none? Rich people, Trump cronies, they're going to get a lot of money. They're going to get a lot of benefit from it. Yeah, Trump cries, sure. Our healthcare is still good. Nothing changes. You're out of your mind. You think when Trump invades Canada and they take, you think your healthcare is going to still stay put? I mean, it's really interesting because it just shows you how deep the brainwashing goes. The real fucking story is what I always told you guys it was. COVID was to cover up Epstein. They did COVID because of Epstein. And in 2020, both Trump and Epstein were on trial for raping this girl. Trump raped her 3 or 4 times. Can't remember what it was. 4 separate occasions.
That's the one they got pregnant too?
No, that was the one that he threw the money at and said, have an abortion. If you get pregnant, here, have an abortion. Ew, you're Jay. Ew, David Rothman. Ew, you're smelly. Ew. You're a horrible, horrible human being who supports the cutting and sucking of baby penis. It's fucking insane. Who supports genocide? And they might even, oh no, I don't support this or that. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, you call me a goyim. If you think that we are goyim, like, if you're a good person, what would you need the connection to the bad for? Oh, well, it's tradition and blah, blah. So? Traditionally, white people had slaves. Should we go back to having slaves? Like, think about this shit. The cult is a horrible cult. They're horrible. If it was any other group of people, we would be like, no fucking way you can get away with that shit, especially not here in the States. I mean, it's you know, there's just so much that goes on with this Israel stuff that it's terrifying. And it's very, very obvious. You're not circumcised. Yeah, I believe you. Then you're not a J, because circumcision is the most important mitzvah.
Well, his mom, his mom. Oh no, he's rough, man.
Yeah.
No, his dad. And if he's claiming, then it's got to be his mom too. So he's 100%.
Yeah, no, he's circumcised. And who gives a fuck? Even if you're not, your cult practices cutting and sucking. Cutting then sucking. That is, if I can't imagine, like if somebody told me that the group I belong to did this shit all the time, I would leave the group.
I would be interested in. Okay, so my ex-mother-in-law married an Orthodox Jew, and she already had 2 boys by a Christian man prior to. So, and she was a registered nurse. So she went through the medical circumcision with her 2 boys, and then she married this Orthodox Jew. They had a child. Thankfully, it was a girl, because had it been a boy, what do you do? You're a nurse, so you know, like, medically from the medical.
I mean, I think at that point she's already given up her own identity and her own feelings of right and wrong. You know, she's already long gone to the dark side.
Oh, that would be so weird. I'm so glad she had a girl.
It's all just a horrible thing.
Well, and the other thing is,
and you can't say, oh well, our family didn't do it that way.
Maybe they don't.
That's fine, but you know that lots of people in your cult do.
And probably find it gross. They're probably like, ew, I can't believe they do that.
No, they don't. They have a big fucking party.
No, I'm saying the people that don't partake probably think it's gross.
Yeah, well,
how do they stop it?
You don't be a part of it anymore. I'm not going to be a part.
Like,
if I find out that my favorite restaurant, they're raping children in the back of the restaurant, I'm not going to eat at the restaurant anymore. I'm not supporting it.
At the same time, the militant Muslims are considered disgusting by the regular Muslims.
Has nothing to do with this. We're talking about this particular thing.
I understand, but it's like they're not going to say, well, we're not going to be Muslim because there are militant Muslims out there that do these terrible things. We're still Muslim. We just don't think they're doing it the right way.
Okay.
So that's what the Jews
not,
that don't believe in it think of the ones that do.
Yeah, but they're not actively out there saying we need to remove that. They're like, well, I don't do it, so okay, well, whatever they do. And if you go to question that, they're going to stand up for their side. And that's just a piece. It's not like we're saying, man, this is the greatest people in the world. They do so much for everyone. They're so beneficial. They share so much. They give so much. They make the world a better place. They just happen to have this weird ritual. We're not saying that. We're talking about the worst people in the world. We're talking about them. So now it's like, yeah, okay, well, I don't condone the circumcision stuff, and I don't condone the genocide, and I don't condone all the pedo stuff in Hollywood, and I don't condone all the. And it's like, okay, There sure is a lot of shit that you don't condone in your group. Why don't you just go be a different group? If your group is so fucking nasty that you have to be like, no, 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 don't be a part of the group. This is about accountability. It's like, yeah, but I like it. Okay. Great. I'm glad you get some advantage from it. I'm glad your painting business takes off more than everybody else's does. Guess what? It's fucked up. It's fucked up. You know, you're so convinced it's like either or. There's a lot of fucking stuff in between. And again, nobody can tell me, why do you have to be this? What is it? What's the benefit?
A sense of belonging and togetherness.
Right, in your group, because that's separation, that's segregation. Because why aren't you feeling together in a group love situation with a bunch of black people and Chinese people and regular old white people?
They don't look like you.
Exactly.
They don't eat matzo ball soup. They don't.
Of course they would. If you gave it to them, they'd eat it. But what does that have to do with it? At the end of the day, shouldn't we all want like everybody to have a much better life than we all do? And if like why doesn't wanting everything to be better outweigh, well, matzo ball soup? You can always have matzo ball soup. That has nothing to do with anything. And it's not even that good. Sorry, I got a boogie. I mean, think about it the other way. Like, if it was some other cult, you know, David Koresh kind of thing, right? And you find out that this cult practices, you know, there's a lot of pedophilia. Not all of them, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot of rape. They cut and suck baby penises. The whole mikvah thing, they think women's vaginas are disgusting. All these horrible things. They believe themselves to be superior, and all of the rest of us are just here to service them. We're just cattle. How many of you are going to be like, well, they have the right to practice that? And not only do they have the right, we should give them a whole bunch of money. We should give them a whole bunch of money and make them untouchable. Nobody can talk about them. Nobody can touch. Nobody can do anything to them. You know, they get Semitism in everything they do. And Semitism, just for those who are stupid enough to think anti-Semitism is a bad thing. Semitism is policy or predisposition favorable to Jays. Policy or predisposition. Meaning the rules or regulations, the way that we do things, along with how we go into it mentally, will always be favorable to that one group of people. Why would that be? Am I sitting here supposed to believe that suddenly everybody stopped commenting? Come on. This is dumb. This is dumb. I don't know what the hell it takes to get you to, you know, to see the world as, to make the world a better place. I don't understand it.
I would love to see the statistics, although we would never have correct statistics.
No.
I would love to see the statistics of the percentage of modern Jays that practice the mitzvah and the
The
you know,
mikvah and the Brit Milah.
Yeah, I would love to see that even know about it, let alone practice it. I bet you it's not as high as we're
Oh no,
assuming.
it's way higher than you think it is. That's the weird thing. Why is it you automatically give them the policy and predisposition that's favorable?
That's not it.
No, it is because you're assuming that
looking at things realistically. There are so much.
you're assuming that they're not doing it instead of assuming they are.
I know, like even in the Greek culture, there's a whole lot of traditions that are religious based that modern Greeks don't, let alone not know about, but don't practice because it's just lost
It's
things
impractical.
in religion. So I'm just assuming based on
Okay,
other
but those
cultures
things aren't the most important Greek thing. According to their literature, according to their beliefs, circumcision is the most important thing.
Where does it say that?
I can't tell you where I read it, but I read it.
No, I'm saying, is it something in their Torah or Talmud, or is it?
No, it was if
Like
you
we have our Ten
if
Commandments.
maybe it was even in Wikipedia, but it's circumcision is one of Judaism's most important mitzvahs. They have big ass parties. They have brisses. Nobody else has a big fucking party. Can you imagine getting fucking invited to a party where they were gonna cut the fucking skin off a dick? Off a baby dick? Would you, how many of you would even go?
We had gone to a bris actually. That
Bris.
was not. They didn't do it there. Baby had it done at the hospital, and then they had a party to celebrate it.
Okay. I'm telling you, the one
That's what I'm
rabbi,
saying. I wonder what the percentage would be.
the one rabbi said, when they were talking about the herpes stuff, he said that he had done this thousands of times and not had any issues. And he was just one. He was just one who had done it thousands of times. I mean, that's what the Moyle's job is. So I guess you could then look up the statistics on how many are considered Moyles. You're not going to be a Moyle if you're not doing the job. It's all fucking insane. It's insane. The idea of whether or not they put it in their mouth. Like that's the only issue. Why are we even doing this horrible barbaric thing that it has no benefit? It's literally some biblical nastiness. You're stupid. They don't bite it off. But they do eat it. They eat the placenta and they eat the fucking foreskins.
Well, the males don't eat the placentas, do they?
No, the wives do.
Vagina.
Well, the one thing you know is that the information I was allowed to have access to is the least amount of information they can put out. But I've gone into many, many, in-depth looks into this, and you can go look. Talking about this whole thing, looking at exactly what they want us to know. And then the thing is too, like, okay, so let's say it's not as prevalent as you think it is, right? How many is too many? Any idea?
I mean, it's all disgusting.
Right. Exactly. There is no, oh, well, I guess if they only do they only do it a few times a year, it's not that big a deal. It absolutely is. And the fact that as a whole, as the cult as a whole isn't coming together and banning this practice, and if anybody does try to say something about it, the cult as a whole, closes ranks and attacks the attacker. That is the problem. Just because you don't do it doesn't mean you don't support it. And if you support it, it's horrible. You're fucked. If you're the getaway driver and somebody runs into a house and shoots the people inside, and you get charged with murder. You might not have pulled the trigger. You might not have even known they were going to do that. You might have thought that it was an abandoned house and they were just going in to steal some shit and you were just waiting outside. You might have just been giving your friend a ride and not known what was going on, and he just had you stop real quick. You'll eventually probably get let off of that depending on what color you are.
How much money you want.
Right, but you're going to have to fight because they're going to charge you with murder. Yes, my kids are circumcised and I hate it. There are two things that I regret when it comes to my children. That we circumcised them and that we gave them any of the vaccines. Any. I was so opposed to it, I wouldn't be there. And I always want to be there, especially if they're going to be hurt. But I just couldn't. It was so awful to do that to my precious little baby. And to think like what I allowed to happen to them within hours of being born. I struggle to forgive myself. Are they doing to eat the flies in some kind of ritual? Not sure what the fuck you mean. Like, think about that. And I think there are Jays that are on here right now, right? The Jays on here, they're not denying anything. They're not denying anything and they're not supporting anything. Says a lot. If anything, they're trying to distract and trying to derail the conversation. Why? Why? Like, this is just a horrible, horrible thing. Well, there you go. So the decent guy profile is acknowledging that they are pedophiles. He's a pedophile. He likes fucking kids. That's what that tells me. Especially when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about it, and instead of acknowledging that, I might be this thing, but you're kind of right, that's disgusting, we need to... Anything like that. Nope. Never happens. Fucking pedophiles, man. It's just... I don't know, it's just wrong. And this is what they've done to us. I guarantee if people had to sit there and watch their kid get circumcised, it wouldn't fucking happen. It would not happen. You would never... Once word got out that watching your kid get fucking cut like that and then go into shock and all that other shit, once that went around, people wouldn't do it anymore. They're just the worst, man. They are just the worst. And it's really fucked up. It's embarrassing. You know, it's like that they have all of us supporting it and doing it, and you know, like we all believe that we're not supposed to speak against this one group of people. You can't say that. You have like the accommodation this disgusting cult gets when they don't give. They're not the ones giving and making the world a better place. They take. And yet, even my wife is like, well, you know, you can't, well. That's how programmed we are. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. They are just so fucked up. And even, you know, right now I'm sitting here talking about what ends up being a personal situation to some degree, instead of talking about the fact that these people are committing genocide. You know, they're exterminating an entire people right now. Like, I mean, I just...
And it's being hidden from us.
No, it's not being hidden. It's being broadcast on their TV show. They're bragging about it. They don't even have the decency to hide it from us this time.
About our mainstream media is not pounding us with, they're doing this now, they're not doing that.
I mean, they like I say, they kind of are. You watch any TV show or any news program, and at some point they're going to talk about something Israel's done and how Israel has the right to defend itself, and you know, I mean, it's and the government's always talking. It's actually a lot. It's a lot more prominent than it should be. That's for damn sure. But the thing that they're not telling us about is the response. You know, you're not hearing about the protests, and like it's almost like you probably think the protesting has stopped. It hasn't. It hasn't. The universities and colleges and all that shit, the kids are still doing it. They're still fighting. It's just not, that part's not being talked about for sure. And it's strange because the people that can afford to send their children to these crazy expensive schools are the richest, most powerful, you know, celebrities and all that shit. Well, why aren't these celebrities speaking out for their kids who are getting arrested doing a constitutionally protected activity, protesting a genocide in a foreign country? Like this whole thing is just wacky. And the fact is, you're not seeing the other side. Nobody's interviewing the other side. Nobody's interviewing people that, like me. I roasted this video yesterday, this Samantha Wool video. It was why I got off the feed yesterday, because I left this, you know, this really blatant comment talking about the story being bullshit, talking about all the Israeli shit being bullshit, volunteering to be the guinea pig, to be the patsy. Bring me on TV, let me say my piece, and then have all your experts debunk the shit out of me, make me look stupid. I don't mind. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it. If anybody can just give me any good reason why Israel is the victim, Israel is the good guy, anything. I'd love to see some proof October 7th happen. Let's see if I can find any. Let's see what I can find as far as October 7th attack footage. October 7th. Oops. attack. October 7th attack. All right, let's see. IDF journalist shows raw footage of the... Okay, let's see.
19 days since the worst terror attack in Israeli
Oh, now it's
history.
19 days later?
Leaders are trying to frame the stakes, today laying bare the brutality in graphic detail. Here's Raf Sanchez.
It felt like there couldn't possibly be new left to see.
That looks real.
That hadn't already been shared or live.
So wait. Did you just see that? So not only was there video from inside the car that was getting shot, there's video from the shooters as well.
Debates the military response 19 days since the worst terror attack.
Watch this. Watch this again.
Its leaders are trying to frame the stakes, today laying bare the brutality in graphic detail. Here's Raf Sanchez.
Watch.
It felt
so that's he's got the body cam on. And then that's the video footage of the car getting shot. So somehow someone submitted both of those. Why did Hamas upload that video? Where did they get that video from Hamas? So that's 10 seconds into this video, and I'm already asking you a question that doesn't make any sense. How did they get both of that footage? Oh yeah, don't even talk to that fucking idiot, Matt. That guy's a fucking idiot.
But we do know what he was taking photos of the day before he died.
All right, talk to him all you want. I'm just letting you know. Now, see, this is where, like, the decent guys and all these guys are going to be out of this conversation, right? Because they just have no, like, there's no concept of reality outside of their little computer world. They are the ones that are actually in their mom's basements. And this is a big boy conversation. Somebody tell me how Hamas, how the news got both of that footage. The footage from inside that car. I guess I could see how the random Israeli would have uploaded that footage to the well, I don't know where they would have put that footage, but where would Hamas have, like, I shot at this car and drove by here, we need to upload this to YouTube. Like, come on. Where the fuck, why would they even have body cams on? Why, Hamas, remember, they barely have any weaponry at all. They barely have anything, and yet they're filming it? They have body cameras?
5,000 rockets.
What's that? Oh, each rocket came with a body cam. That must be it. But this is that thing. Like, this is part of that conversation where, come on, let's stop talking about me. I know we like talking about me, but let's talk about the bigger picture here. Of course, and that video was from 19 days after the attack. So 19. How much do you think could be staged and filmed in 19 days? I'd love to know. Come on, all the big talkers who have so much to say all the time. Isn't it interesting how the trolls shut down when it comes to talking about, if they're not bots who are specifically programmed to focus on me, then how do you explain the fact that they seemingly shut down when we talk about anything other than me? It's like the program doesn't allow it, so they just shut down. And they'll keep trying to bring it back to me because, again, that's all they can do. God damn it. Doing my lines. Got to do my lines. Like, I This is also a great example of it's better than if I had people that were agreeing with me, right? Because you have people that are here purposefully trying to disrupt and find me wrong and look for this and look for that. And they can't. They can't say what's actually being said is wrong, or they would. So they start saying dumb shit. Like, I appreciate it, you know? I appreciate it. Let's see.
What happens if seniors don't claim their free spending card today? If you're on Medicare, you're eligible for a health plan best for you and your needs. Part C plans can change every year.
As the world debates the military in graphic detail.
Graphic
Here's
detail.
Raf Sanchez.
Raf Sanchez.
It felt like there couldn't possibly be new horror left to see.
The combined footage of 2 news networks? What is it? Yeah. Okay. So you think the Hamas soldiers are walking around with body cameras and then uploading them to a separate news network? Because that makes so much sense. Yeah, you're right, dude.
Yet we have no footage of Trump getting shot.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right. All the cell phone videos and live feeds from the Trump shooting, well, those don't exist. Like, that's how stupid you are, right? That's how stupid you are. The people that have nothing, they're out there buying GoPro cameras. They're going to GoPro cameras. Yep. That's how stupid people are. And you see, he does it again, right? He says something that I didn't say. Oh, what's so different about separate news networks? What do you, that's not what I said. But this is what always has to happen. Instead of arguing the actual point, they say stupid shit. Oh, yep, they're cheap. Yep, you got it. GoPro body cameras are just cheap for people that have blockades. The people in the blockade that are fighting a war.
Shut off for hours throughout the day. Their water supply shut down.
Right.
Hours every day.
They've been under attack for 19 days and all that. Yep. These people. No, wait. This was before that. So, but no, these people that have nothing, they're like, yeah, we got to get those body cams so we can film our attack.
That hadn't already been shared
Just
or live
stupid.
streamed. But tonight, with global
Okay, so let's see.
attention to the spiraling death toll in Gaza.
Spiraling
Israel's
death
military
toll.
trying to keep the focus on the massacre that sparked the war.
Why?
Inviting NBC News and other journalists to a screening of raw video from the October 7th
Oh.
terror attack.
I have some sense of what's in this footage, and I'm trying to prepare myself, but I'm still anxious about what we're going to see.
For 46 minutes, we sat in stunned silence.
Stunned silence.
Video filmed by Hamas and filmed by their victims.
She looks like she's really crying.
And while Israel's military is not releasing the clips because they're so graphic, they allowed us to describe what we saw, including a terrorist throwing a grenade into a bomb shelter where an Israeli father is shielding his 2 young sons. The blast kills the father and wounds the little boy.
So they were allowed to tell
Howls,
stories.
why am I alone?
Right.
But they're allowed to tell stories.
So that's basically what that video. Hey, we're gonna show you a bunch of the footage and we can't show you. But let me tell you about it. I'm Jewish, so I can tell you about these things. Do you realize how stupid that is? That's not how our society works. If anything, they'll bleep it right at the last second so you don't see the actual carnage. But they'll show you all the way up to like the gun getting pulled and about to be and then 1 second later the trigger is pulled. But because it's Israelis that are dying, well, that's just so horrible we can't see it. I mean, this is the kind of stuff where this sort of requires your brain to do some work here. Is that how our system works? Does our system go, ooh, it's so bad you can't see it, so here, we're going to tell you what we saw? Have you ever heard of that happening? I mean, I'm sure it's happened in the past, but I can't think of anything offhand where that's how it's presented. So I'm not watching that shit. All right. Israeli army releases unseen footage of October 7th attacks on first anniversary. So yet again, if it takes a year before the footage is getting released, what proof do you have that it's authentic? That it's from that exact day? Okay, here's some of that footage. Who's filming this? Whoever it is, man, they have a steady fucking hand. They sure don't look like it, that like they're struggling or they're like, what is this footage coming from? This is just a drone that's just floating up there? Doesn't look like it. Oh, and then there's this random footage like this, huh? What the fuck am I even looking at? I'm looking at some people walking through the woods. Oh, now there's a bunch of... Oh, well, that looks fucking real. The Israeli army says the footage shows Hamas fighter attempting to shoot at their drone.
It must be hard for you.
Footage shows the aftermath of an attack in a police station on Serdat. Oh, yeah? Used gunfire and bulldozers to retake the station. What? And that's it. That's the end of it. You saw a very small, isolated scene where it was some houses or something. I don't even know. Some trees. Some kind of close-ups of some soldiers. And then you saw, I don't know, a bomb get dropped. I'm not really sure what happened. And then you see somebody shoot at the drone. And then the next bit of footage is... I already forgot it. Oh, is this police station after the attack. So when I look up October 7th attack, the first two videos that show up, the top two videos that show up, aren't the most... Well, you would think they would give you the most compelling footage first, right? Isn't that how the algorithm would work?
Yeah.
So if that's the most compelling footage they have, just people walking through yards. Right. What is going on? Let's see what else we can find. Oz Davidian saved 120 people on October 7th. He saved 120 people, huh? Single worst day in Israel's history. Hamas, the October 7th attack. A minute-by-minute breakdown. Ooh, this is going to be good.
Now that he's in office again, the Gov has quietly been doing a... October 7th, 2023. Hamas launches the worst attack Israel has ever faced, resulting in the deaths of over 1,200 Israeli citizens.
Oh, now they're saying it. That's the first time I've heard somebody say it that way. Normally it's over one, and it's actually supposed to be over 1,100, around 1,100. But even still, this says over 1,200. Why do they say over 1,200? That's not how news is reported. Like when it's funny when it's Hamas and they're doing, like, Israel bombed a bunch of places last night and 278 people were killed. They get the number down exactly. It's been all, and we still it's over 1,200 people. Like that's so stupid.
It's the world's third most fatal terrorist attack in history.
It's the world's third most fatal terrorist attack in history? Bullshit.
With only 9/11 and the 2014 Tikrit attack in Iraq being more deadly.
What?
This wasn't a random attack by Hamas. It was a carefully coordinated and orchestrated event with almost every detail planned down to the minute. And we're going to give you a minute-by-minute break.
Again, isn't it amazing that Hamas, this nothing group with nothing, was able to put together and orchestrate this incredible third most deadly terror attack in history, planned out minute by minute. And since then, they've done nothing but get their asses kicked. Isn't that an amazing thing? You would have thought they would have had like maybe a secondary plan, like, hey, you guys know that Israel takes every opportunity to strike back 100 times worse than they were getting. It's the what's it called? It's not the Hannibal Doctrine. It's the I think it's just the massive retaliation doctrine. But their philosophy is that if somebody attacks you, you attack them 10, 20, 100 times harder so they know not to do it again. That's their bullshit philosophy. I mean, I've been questioning this for quite some time now. Why would anyone from Palestine, anyone with Palestine's best intentions, anyone that gives a shit about the people in that region, launch any sort of artillery into Israeli airspace? It absolutely 100% will not cause damage. The only shit that gets through is when they want it to. You know, if the system analyzes it and detects that it's not going to cause or hit anything of importance, they'll let it fall. Or occasionally you'll hear some bullshit story about how, you know, it hit an apartment building where an old elderly woman lived and, you know, who had no relatives or anything to look after her, and she's dead now. So, you know, those are the stories that come through as far as Israel being the victim. Oh, a woman was running to a bomb shelter and fell and scraped her knee. Another woman had an anxiety attack. And that's the best Israel can report as far as casualties go, to try to, you know, balance out the situation. It's just ridiculous. I mean, stating that this is all in result of this unwarranted, unprecedented, unaccounted for, unbelievable attack that happened on October 7th. If that shit was real, it would be absolutely, totally warranted. But like I say, Hamas, the brilliant tacticians that they were, they shot their whole 5,000 rocket load in 20 minutes, and then that was that. Oh, but like I said, but even then, why? It all got shot down. None of it got through. Oh, the other time something got through only shows you that it's because it was allowed to.
They assessed the damage it would do, and it was acceptable.
No. This was a disgusting move on their end. So maybe around a year ago, the story started going around that the 12 children of Israel were killed. That there were they were running that phrase, the 12 children of Israel, like the 12 tribes of Israel. But they kept saying the 12 children were killed, and they said that some artillery got through and hit a soccer field and killed 12 children that were playing. And they ran with this narrative really, really strong, like 12 children were killed, 12 children were killed in Israel. Well, it's partially true. There is this isolated community known as the Druze, who are neither Christian nor Jewish. They're Druze. And their community has its territory is in what is now Israel. So, once you understand that the Druze came out and said, "Hey, stop saying it's the 12 children of Israel. It was our people that got killed by this horrendous attack," the story disappeared. Nobody talked about it anymore. And it makes it makes, because when I heard about it, the first thing I thought was like, how the fuck did that get through the Iron Dome? Nothing gets through the Iron Dome, so exactly. They weren't martyrs.
No, Israel needed to be the martyr, so they sacrificed the 12.
They weren't martyrs because they weren't Israeli. They weren't Jay. They were victims. Israel let that munition hit the ground because, again, those are Druze. Those aren't.
But that's not how it was spun.
That's, I know, but once it came out that they weren't Jays, that they weren't Israeli, that they were Druze, the story disappeared. So it was the Druze were victimized by Israel. Israel did it. Israel is who launches the munitions into Israeli airspace. The Palestinians do not have it. Show me one video of Palestinians attacking with anything other than mostly sticks and rocks and maybe the occasional gun. Yet somehow they have these massive fucking artillery rocket launcher things that they can... No, it doesn't work that way. There's literally... And of course, there's no Hamas body camera footage of them launching fucking rockets into Israeli airs. That doesn't exist.
Didn't Russia give them a bunch of stuff?
Right, Russia did it. Russia somehow sent underwater torpedo submarines into the harbor where Israel's surveillance system just couldn't detect 5,000 rockets and rocket launchers being delivered. And enough rocket launchers to launch 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes, which is 4 rockets every second. How many rocket launchers do you need to do that? How much does all that shit cost?
They don't have money to feed their people or provide their own electricity and water, but
or medicine.
But they have all this money for rocket launchers.
Right.
Multiple. I could see one, but multiple.
I don't even know how they would do one. Israel doesn't let lumber through the blockade because they say lumber could be used to strike Israel.
Medical supplies.
Right. And they're stopping it at like a 90-some% clip. So, what you think a fucking rocket launcher is getting smuggled into that? How big are these rocket launchers? These aren't like bottle rockets.
It could come in pieces, and they could have to put it together, assemble it. Like,
But how does it get through the blockade? How does it get through the blockade?
That's a big
And like, okay, so it's 4 rockets every second. So you have to load the rocket launcher. Like, I don't know how rocket launchers work. If you can just put, a bunch of rockets in there, the fuse is all light and they launch, and then you just hurry up and put more rockets in there. No, I don't think that's how they work. They're not like mortars. And anything I've ever seen that military-wise that does launch things like that, it requires a pretty decent crew. The munitions are huge, and it's quite the operation to be able to, load it up like that and shit. Like, it's just not a feasible thing. And in the most heavily surveilled area in that region, there's no real footage of it because it all happened so fast. If Israel had literally any footage, I can't believe how much that chick looks like Jeannie Garth. She's not even related.
I know. It's very weird.
There should, if Israel had the footage to be able to be like, wah, look at us, we're the victims, they would be using it. There are countless, just endless videos showing the devastation, the destruction, the bombings, and all that shit. Endless. Which, how does that even exist? Hasn't Israel shut down the phone communications? And I don't know. Israel has that footage. It's just confidential. Why? Why would it be confidential? If you had footage to justify what you're saying, to prove that what you're saying is true, why wouldn't you show us? Why is it the footage that does come out is just some guys walking through a yard? One of my favorite pieces of footage was, it was like a news program, and they were like, we're going live to Susie Q, who's down at the scene right now. And as they cut to it, it was like they said, okay, start running. Okay. And she's like, yeah, we're being attacked at the moment. There are munitions flying overhead, and we're just trying to get someplace safe. And of course, the cameraman is running the whole time, camera perfectly on her face. They go running over to like the embankment on the side of the road where they fall down like to get protection, you know, into the embankment. And as this is happening, the cameraman is a pro. He falls and he's still able to fall and like keep his footage on her the entire time. You hear some pops and stuff in the background, but nothing crazy. She's talking and she's like, okay, we've gotten the clear to, like, there's other people there that remain off camera. So then they start walking around the scene and they're like, this is the intersection where Hamas first crossed over the border for their attack. And you can see there's just people everywhere. It's like, I guess they're like, why didn't all those other people, where were they hiding and stuff? Everybody's just walking around like it's no big deal. There wasn't some bombs going off. And she stands up and she's like, oh, look, there's some plumes of smoke in the background. That must be where Israel has done a counterstrike. And then, like, the person off camera says something to her, you know, or whatever. She goes, or you know what? That's where the rockets were fired from that just attacked us. Because, you know, Hamas rocket launchers leave this huge plume of identifiable smoke saying, here we are, right at this spot after they launched the rocket launchers, or after they launched the rockets, right? That's how rocket launchers work. They leave huge black plumes of smoke, like when bombs go off, they leave big old smoke, you know, here we are smoke. What sense would that make? So then she's like, oh, look, there's one of the trucks that Hamas used, and it just happens to be being towed right now. And they walk over to this, like the tow truck who's picking up, and they're like, what? It's, you know, and it was just the most manufactured, fake bullshit. It reminded me of that one piece of footage from the Gulf War where that guy was caught pretending he was in you know, getting attacked. You guys know what I'm talking about? I'm Joshin', LOL. They definitely don't have footage. She said Joshin'. Well, you won points in that regard. I say Joshin' all the time, so nice work. Let's see. I bet I can find this pretty easy. Reporter fakes attack. I guess I can't find it easy as I thought I would. Desert Storm. Let's try that. Here it is.
What we had intended was simply to go to Charles Diego for an update about what was happening in Kuwait City this morning.
I can't believe this was actually would actually be believed. Look at how cheesy it looks.
What happened as he was preparing to do a live report to us back there in Atlanta. Can you roll that now? Right. Wow.
No, that wasn't it. Where the fuck is the footage? Oh, here it is.
CNN's Carl Rochelle is here with me. Just came up. Carl, I know we can't be very specific given these restrictions, but within those parameters.
You guys can't see how fake it looks. No, this isn't it either, but this looks really fake. And of course, it's a J. Carl Rovell. Oh no, this is the fake one. Is it? Why does he have a gas mask on and he has on a helmet? The props department fucked up on this one.
Oh! Shit!
Where the hell is it? There's a piece of footage that exists that, but I guess it's not here. I don't know where it is.
Used to sneak in. Tuck into this corner right here.
I can't understand a word. Trump shuts down Afghan reporter with that big Israeli flag right behind him. It's just disgusting.
It's awful. It's never, Trump goes to a VA hospital and helps one of the vets with their PD, or, we don't hear anything good. Nothing. The only thing we've heard about Melania is she's making appointments with interior designers at the White House.
No, she's doing a documentary about what it's like to be her. What's up, Karen? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The footage of the reporter faking the attack. Do you guys I know jumping subjects, but speaking of fake, what do you guys think of that fake fucking stuck in space for 9 months story? Boy, is that shit getting torn apart. It's just like the footage from Hamas, where within the first, immediately, you can already find something wrong. The exact same thing happened with the stuck in space thing. I looked it up, and the first thing it said was that after leaving the space station, it took 17 hours before they were finally pulled out. They finally touched down. And I don't understand what people are why this one's sort of getting by. They're in a capsule. The capsule doesn't fly. The capsule doesn't have anti-gravity boosters on it. The capsule falls. They get just to think about how stupid it is. So they're on their space station traveling at 17,500 miles per hour, perpetually falling into the earth. They get into the capsule, they push the button, and the capsule falls. Can you imagine how demon drop awful that is? And they're just falling, and they fell for 17 hours? 9 months late to come home. You shouldn't bring up pizza on my feed, you fucking weirdo. That's really testing. Do I block that fucking guy for doing that? That's pretty gross. If I was you, I wouldn't bring it up again, or else you're probably getting blocked. Right. Yeah, we don't talk about I mean, we could talk about the whole thing, but for you to just be dropping that out of nowhere is pretty suspect. Right, oh, you have no idea. Do you guys really think it could take 17 hours to fall from space? Look it up. It's not that hard to find. Pizzagate. Pretty fucking common knowledge. That's one of those stories where you just go like, how much more smoking gun evidence do you need? The Anthony Weiner emails, the laptop that's been disappeared. Like, what the fuck is going on? You guys notice the Podestas have just disappeared? Podesta was on TV all the time. Podesta's daughter had a recurring gig on CBS News. When I was last watching the news during COVID, she disappeared. Right, like how Diddy told his lawyer to get rid of all the pizza boxes and recycle all the plastic. Pretty fucking weird thing to say. It wasn't his lawyer, it was his son. You guys hear that tape?
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT now.
GQ is celebrating 85 years. So we're giving you an 85-cent blizzard treat in the GQ app. Now for a limited time.
This is 3 months ago. What are we talking about?
What up? How you listen? Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing old phone. Alright. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. You know what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah. Jay reach out yet? Nah, Bob. He ghosting. I just want to do it. These things tweeting now because I'm in here. It's all good. You about to get out on bail. Everybody out there quiet as muck. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh. About all these lawsuits though, Bob. Ain't none of them genius shit. I ain't worth nothing. Ain't got shit in my name anyway. Don't even worry about it. But for money hungry to finish. What up? Are you listening? Do not entertain.
I don't know. I mean, is it real?
35 cents a day. Your rate will never change.
I don't. The Diddy fucking distraction is just just dumb as fuck to me. It bugs me. Like, I hate it, right? Because it triggers something in me that I don't want it to. You know? I'm sorry, but it's racist at its fucking core. You know? Diddy is just their boy. Diddy's the guy that they said, "Oh, Diddy, you have the best parties. Let's have them at your house. We don't want you at our house." But Diddy was only allowed to be Diddy by the bigger picture. You know, Suge Knight fucking laid it all out. As if he's a lone gunman. Right. Well, I mean, it's the same thing with Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine got charged with trafficking of children, with human trafficking. And it's like, how do you human traffic to yourself? The fuck are you talking about? What about all the people she human trafficked to? Who else is, how does that work? You don't just human traffic one way. But that's, you know, these are the things that we're not supposed to pay attention to. Diddy's black. She's a woman. Who gives a fuck? You know, when the first Epstein list was released, it seems like it's weird that everybody's forgotten it. But it was released during Biden times. And it was like 1,000 papers just sort of all strewn together that if you wanted to go through it and make your own list, maybe you could, but it was really a bunch of like just shit. And it was about a week, maybe less, maybe a few days after the list was leaked and people started going, hey, what the fuck is this shit? This isn't a list. This is just a bunch of shit. This is more confusing than it ever was. Suddenly, Cat Williams comes out of nowhere. And now he's on Club Shay Shay. And he's spilling the tea on who? Black people. He brought up two J's. Epstein, who's dead, and Weinstein, who was in prison already. He got his shit overturned when a J judge got to his trial. Nobody's talking about that shit. When it was a Goyim judge, Epstein got 25 fucking years. When it got retried by a J, they overturned it. But there's nothing there. Diddy is being charged for the same reason the black guy dies first in the horror movie. Why only Diddy? Exactly. You know, the whole idea of the fires being the California fires having dual purposes. One, to initiate a smart city, and two, to destroy the tapes, to destroy all the evidence Diddy had. They said the fires were like a triangle, and they burned inward. Strange, huh? Oh, evidence destruction. I mean, it's the thing about Diddy is like, are we like suddenly everybody's like, hey, remember how Usher got to live? Like, why isn't anybody talking about Usher's parents? My kid's 14. I don't care what fucking famous person is like, oh, your kid has a lot of potential. Let him come live with me and live the party rock star lifestyle for a little bit. We're not doing it. And I don't know, how could you legally do that? Legally, how could I just be like, yeah, go live with this older man who's doing drugs and shit around you?
I can't see anybody calling themselves a parent doing that.
What melted all the windows and the rims? The same thing that turned the towers into dust. All the Justin Bieber shit. Everybody's just like, oh, wow. Yeah, I guess when Diddy was like 40 and he hung out with Justin Bieber, that probably wasn't cool. No shit. Let's not get another headache today, huh? It helps. Nick, wash your hair. Nick, wash your hair. The FBI put out a list on how these names are used in language and symbols. And once it got busted, they changed it up. Or should I say you guys changed it up? Right? Then it became the whole couch thing that you saw for a minute. And they had a few different words or phrases that they would use. And for a minute it was like, what the fuck is this? What's going on? And then it dawned on me that, well, they can't come through here and just start asking for pizzas and shit, because it'd be too obvious. But if it's been put out through the web, the dark web, if you want to, you know, like, if you're a pedo, meet on the truther pages because nobody listens to the truthers anyway. So if we're in the truther comment sections and we just throw out there this one little phrase, if you see that phrase, reach out to me, and then I'll say something, and then you say something, and we know we're both in, and now we can trade pictures and shit. And we don't have to use the dark web to communicate. It was a way for them to communicate and trade with each other out in the open. And I'm proud of myself for figuring it out and putting it out there because I killed it. It doesn't happen anymore because they know better. At least not here. And mine was the first place I saw it. First page, it was before I saw it on Alex Jones. It was before I saw it anywhere else. They were here pulling that shit. I remember it well. It was the day I went and bought this dead Freemasons, like memorabilia from some lady off of Facebook. I went to one house to buy some cards, and then I had to drive all the way to the other side of town to get this box, this little box of like, you know, cufflinks and a little brooch and just weird shit. It was like $5 or something, and I just thought it was cool. But as soon as I got out from her house, the shit started. And I thought, wow, that's really weird. What is that? And, you know, this was back when I was allowed thousands of views on Facebook. And so I woke up the next day and I wanted to see what would happen. And I went live and it just started happening again. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I think the best way to hide is to do it out in the open. So sure, there are other dumb fucking, you know, there are regular people out there who are just trolls for some reason, I guess. And so I think a lot of people were unknowingly participating in the cover of it. But once it started to really come out that that's what that was, it stopped. It definitely stopped. You should be, you know, the Pizzagate thing is just the modern version of the Franklin cover-up. And if you know, you really want to like sort of start, like it's where Pizzagate sort of begins. And it's the 80s version of the Franklin cover-up is the 80s version of Pizzagate. But with the Franklin story, that shit, and Johnny Gosh, like we were talking about the other day, that shit went all the way up to like the White House press secretary, or I think it even went up to the vice president. And once it got high enough in the government, the story just disappeared. It just vanished. Nobody talked about it anymore. But it was all about how this Franklin school would traffic boys. It was a Franklin boys school for like runaways or some shit. But they would traffic boys to the White House and to government officials and shit. And it was exposed. And it was exposed by about as credible a person as you can get. And that's former FBI Chief Ted Gunderson. Ted Gunderson, I mean, when people say, oh, if that was real, somebody would talk about it. Ted Gunderson did. He was a former FBI chief in California. And when he started, you know, figuring this shit out, he couldn't do it anymore. Yeah, there are good people that get caught up that, you know, don't realize they're a part of it. It's just at what point, you know, how does your selfishness work? When you figure it out, do you keep going to keep your narrative safe? Or do you, you know, shut the fuck up or do you speak out and fight the power? Yeah, the Podesta brothers, again, they've disappeared. That whole thing is just, it's all just disappeared. And Pizzagate, if you look it up, it'll be like Pizzagate is the debunked conspiracy theory or something like that. That's what it'll say. And I don't know where and when it was debunked. I never heard them even try to debunk it. It just went away. I wonder what it looks like in 2025. Let's see. Let's see if there's a Pizzagate narrative that they're giving now. Well, my phone doesn't like me looking this one up. Hey, what are you doing? It just stopped. Shake it a little. If you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it. What the fuck is going on here? Alright, let's try this again. Let's try this a different way. We'll close everything. We'll try again. Well, it's not populating. Oh, there we go. Ah, it pops right up. All right. Here, code mentions for simplified snake. Okay, I clicked on it. Is it okay if I use Wikipedia for this? Yeah, can you? Oh, this one's locked. That is interesting. That is extremely interesting. I bet it's because they would constantly have to be, dealing with edits. And they just said, fuck it. We're not going to let that happen anymore. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Chalk this one up to the, the Samson option and the Operation Cast Thy Bread. These amazing these amazing things that I'm making up, these conspiracy theories that I'm making up that on Wikipedia pages that can't be edited. That's interesting. How many of these pages, like seriously, how many Wikipedia pages are locked like this? And then so all the people that say Wikipedia is not a good source, wah wah wah. Well, who's in charge of locking it? If that doesn't show you that it's a government controlled source, I don't know what does. Certain government shit, certain whatever gets locked. And I promise you, even the pages that you can edit, if you make an edit on Wikipedia, depending on how sensitive the material is, it will trigger some sort of thing to an actual person who will then check your edit to see if it fits the narrative. And if it doesn't, they'll get rid of it. It'll go right back to normal. All right.
You might think quitting feels like pulling teeth. Trust me,
Pizzagate is a conspiracy theory that went viral during the 2016 presidential election cycle, falsely claiming that the New York City Police Department had discovered a pedophilia ring linked to members of the Democratic Party while searching through Anthony Weiner's emails. It has been extensively discredited by a wide range of organizations, including the Washington, D.C. Police. Extensively discredited. In March 2016, the personal email account of John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, was hacked in a spear phishing attack. WikiLeaks published his emails in November 2016. Now, this is one of those things where you have to sort of believe, like they're almost gonna like insult you into being stupid, right? They're gonna be like, it's just this erroneous idea that these emails were anything, blah blah blah. But then you read the emails, you go like, what the fuck are they even talking about? It's hot dogs and pizza. What do you? These don't make sense. The only way they make sense is if they're code for something. And it just so happens that the Anthony Podesta pizza place, Comet Pizza, has the recognized pizza symbol perfectly in its little design. Like, there's so many of these connections that I guarantee if you were to look through my extensive catalog, we have, hundreds, well over 100 songs. I'll say that. I don't know how many we have, but it's well over 100 songs. Well over 70 music videos, maybe. I don't know. You can go through any of my pages, any of these YouTube videos, anything you can ever find of mine, and you're not going to find anything where it's like, wow, he must be talking in some sort of weird code. You're never going to find any of those fucking symbols in my designs just accidentally. And it just doesn't work that way. It's like when you watch the pedos get busted by like Gordon Flowers and shit. And so many of them, as soon as he's like, I want to talk to you about some emails, they go, oh yeah, well my Facebook account got hacked. Like they don't even they don't realize how stupid they are in their response. But they always talk, I got hacked. I never had my shit hacked to where somebody sent me some horrible shit that I fucking didn't get rid of. Like I get friend requests from whores all the time. And I just delete them. Like and these are like adult whores. Big old titties and all that shit. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, first of all, I know that's not you. Secondly, I what am I? You can watch porn for free all over the fucking internet. Why would I need to pay you to pretend? Like, it's just so stupid. It's such a stupid thing. And for these people to pretend like it accidentally happened to them is just ludicrous. And it's the same thing here. All these connections to Podesta and Obama and Hillary and all that have all these weird code word emails and just all the Hillary caught breaking her phones with a hammer. When they were coming in to get them, they caught her literally, and her staff were on the floor with hammers breaking their phones. It's exactly the response.
I mean, how many pictures do you have on your phone you don't want gone? Or
What would be any reason to do that?
What?
Other than it's the worst shit you could imagine. You're desperately trying to prevent people from finding, and because you know that the system is capable of like
recovering it from shit other
recovering crazy. You're hitting it with hammers trying to break it that much.
Because if you break the screen, they can't recover anything.
Oh no, they were smashing it. They were smashing all the circuitry and shit to bits. Are you kidding? Like that's.
Have you not seen Abby?
No.
On NCIS, Abby can recover shit from Abby.
Sure. Well, but that's why these shows exist. These shows exist to convince you don't do shit. We can find your skin cells. We'll find your skin cells. We'll find a single hair that fell out of your eyebrow. We have, like, every single one of these shows, the Abby or the Penelope or whatever, they'll be like, okay, here's what we do. And then they'll click a button on their computer, and then this program will run where it's got all these animations and all this shit. Dr. Ryan Cole, the next epidemic is going to be cancer caused by the COVID shot. A family doctor in Ireland reported that in a 6-week period, he's seen an explosion of cancers like he's never seen in 40 years. I don't know if any of that shit's true. I don't know if that's a real thing. I don't know. Proponents of proponents of the Pizzagate conspiracy theory falsely claim the emails contained messages that connected several high-ranking Democratic Party officials and U.S. restaurants with alleged human trafficking and sex and child sex ring. One of the establishments allegedly involved was Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria in Washington, D.C. Members of the alt-right, conservative journalists, and others who had urged Clinton's prosecution over her use of an unrelated private email server. Yeah, you remember that? She was illegally using an unprotected private email server, like your buddy Trump.
But she got in trouble, right?
No, it was a big deal, and then there was nothing. There's no accountability. Spread the conspiracy theory on social media outlets such as 4chan, 8chan, Reddit, and Twitter. In response, a man from North Carolina, right, and then you gotta love this story. A man from North Carolina traveled to Comet Ping Pong Pizza to investigate the conspiracy and fired a rifle inside the restaurant to break the lock on the door to a storage room during his search. In addition, the restaurant's owner and staff received death threats from conspiracy theorists. Wait. That's not what happened. What happened was, supposedly, the gun accidentally went off, or he shot it, one of the two, and it went through the wall and hit the computer, hit the hard drive of the hard drive back in the locked manager's room, and destroyed the hard drive. Yep. Pizzagate is generally considered a predecessor to QAnon. the fakest bunch of shit ever. QAnon is an unknown group of people who are putting out exactly the conspiracies that the system wants put out.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, like, what, this is kind of weird. What is this? And over the last few years, I figured it out, because QAnon just disappeared. But now, if you start bringing stuff up, the conservative response, the system response is, oh, this is one of those QAnon conspiracy theories. So that's why they did it.
She's not going to sit still.
Pizzagate is generally considered a QAnon conspiracy theory. It also generated another offshoot conspiracy called Frazzle Drip, which is fucking crazy, which involved Hillary Clinton participating in ritual murder of a child. Gee, it's weird how all these weird conspiracy theories just come out about these specific people. Wasn't anything, doesn't happen to anybody else. It also, Pizzagate resurged in 2020, mainly due to QAnon, while initially it was spread by only the far right, because this is how they do this, because only the people on the far right were talking about this. It has since been spread by teens on TikTok who don't otherwise fit a right-wing conspiracy theorist mold. The biggest Pizzagate spreaders on TikTok appear to otherwise be mostly interested in topics of viral dance moves and Black Lives Matter. Oh, Jesus. Man, is this well written? I got to give it to them. This is well written. The conspiracy theory has developed and become less partisan and political in nature, with less emphasis on Clinton and more on the alleged worldwide elite of child sex traffickers. As it should be. I mean, the reality is there are hundreds of pedophile hunters on YouTube. Hundreds? I don't know. It's very, very prolific, and they are very prolific. Catching multiple people a day if they do it right. When Chris Hansen sets up a sting in whatever area he's in, they'll catch like 20 guys in a weekend or whatever. They have to get him out. The last video that he put out, the guy that was there, they had to hurry up and run him downstairs because another guy showed up. That's how common it is. So if it's that easy, if Gordon Flowers can do it every day, why can't our system do it? with the legal authority to actually do it. At least hundreds, right. All these people can do it, but our system can't do it? Why? Oh, there's not enough money and manpower. Well, fucking A, stop giving Israel $3.8 billion a year. This is my original. So, prior to 2020, I was actually allowed to have a pretty decent following on Facebook. For those that have been here that long, they can verify it. But you can easily just go look on Facebook and you'll see. And it was my New Year's resolution. I don't believe in those, but it was just the way my thinking was going at the time, and I just sort of made the joke. But I said, I'm going to stop concentrating on chemtrails and vaccines and all of these other things. I'm going to stop spreading myself so thin. And instead of going after the tentacles of the monster, I'm going to try to cut the head off the monster. So I want us to stop giving Israel $3.8 billion a year and use that money to form proper government pedo hunter groups. And, let's do that. Like that was my sort of mission statement. It's evolved since then, but that's the foundation of it. And if you were here, after I said that, everything changed. I started getting attacked by so many different, who were like Bitchbeard, whatever his name is, that dude with the red, white, and blue beard, so the kids play with him. That dude starts attacking me, and a bunch of other people start coming at, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, who's opposing the idea that we should kill pedos? Like, what's going on? If you oppose me on this, you're saying a lot about yourself. And my numbers tanked, and everything just tanked for years. It wasn't until I started going, hey, fuck it, let's give YouTube a try, because I didn't think I was allowed to. I didn't think I had enough subscribers to go live on YouTube. I thought you had to have 1,000 subscribers first. They must have changed the shit. So, are you indifferent to non-religious J Americans? Am I indifferent to non-religious? If you are a victim of that cult, and you were raised in that cult, and you escape, both mentally and physically, I think you're amazing. Especially if you are strong enough to go against it. Because that's the thing that you really don't see. I don't see anybody that used to be a J anyway. I know I hear about these mythical unicorns, but I never meet any. But it's not a race thing. They're not a race. It's not the people, it's your beliefs. If you believe in that cult, then you are a problem. Origins. Genesis. David Goldberg, New York. Rumors stirring in the NYPD that Huma's emails point to a pedophilia ring, and at Hillary Clinton is at the center. Hashtag Go Hillary, hashtag Podesta emails 23. This was on October 30th, 2016. Why does that seem like a normal email to anyone? Why would that be how you would speak to someone? David Goldberg. On October 30th, 2016, a Twitter account posting white supremacist material which said it was run by a Jewish New York lawyer falsely claimed that the New York City Police Department, NYPD, had discovered a pedophilia ring linked to members of the Democratic Party while searching through Anthony Weiner's emails. So somebody just was sitting around one day and thought, hey, let's make this whole thing up, and then we'll plant all this evidence all over the place. I mean, at the other end, if somebody, that's another conspiracy in itself. Who's that would take a lot of effort and capability to be able to pull that one off. Throughout October and November 2016, WikiLeaks had published John Podesta's emails. Proponents of the conspiracy theory read the emails and alleged they contained code words for pedophilia and human trafficking. Proponents also claimed that Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria in Washington, D.C. was a meeting ground for a satanic ritual abuse. That's where I just get goofed. Okay, I'm going to click on the emails here. In March 2016, the personal Gmail account of John Podesta, a former White House chief of staff and chair of Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, was compromised in a data breach accomplished via a spear phishing attack, and some of his emails, many of which were work-related, were hacked. Cybersecurity researchers, as well as the United States government, attributed responsibility for the breach to the Russian cyber spying group Fancy Bear, allegedly 2 units of a Russian military intelligence agency. Goddamn Russians! It's tied to bloodlines and gene pools, though. I think the people's feelings matter just as much. People can be born gay and agnostic atheists, or born agnostic. Yeah. Unless you oppose the problem, you support the problem. I'm sorry you want to live in that nice little bubbly world where I don't do it, so it's so you know.
That you don't give her a choice.
I should get a pass. No, especially if you know more about it than I do. You need to be expressing that. We are no longer going to tolerate this.
Say, okay, good luck finding your keys in the meantime.
You know, how else can it stop?
I just walk out the door.
How else do we stop it?
Make it a joke. Lighthearted.
The only way it stops is if the people closest to it stand up and change things. Some or all of the Podesta emails were subsequently obtained by WikiLeaks, which published over 20,000 pages of email allegedly from Podesta in October and November 2016. Podesta and the Clinton campaign have declined to authenticate the emails. So that in itself, like, this is devastating. This is such a horrible connection, and it's devastating. You're saying they're not going to verify that they're not fucking authentic? Right? Like, why would they? No, we don't want anything to do with this if they're not guilty. That's just not how it works. When you're telling the truth, when you're not guilty, you embrace the criticism because you know that strengthens your argument. That's what I do. I beg you guys to tell me what I'm wrong about so that, you know, I can address those things. I want to address those things. I want to know what things you're not understanding or whatever. Because, you know, you might bring up something that I hadn't thought of. And I love learning. That's why I read. I want to be the smartest fucking guy in the room. Wally, what's going on? What's up, Beeve? Cybersecurity experts interviewed by PolitiFact believe the majority of the emails are probably unaltered, while stating it is possible that the hackers inserted at least some doctored or fabricated emails. The article then attests that the Clinton campaign, however, has yet to produce any evidence that any specific emails in the latest link were fraudulent. A subsequent investigation by U.S. intelligence agencies also reported that the files obtained by WikiLeaks during the U.S. election contained no evident forgeries. Podesta's emails were released by WikiLeaks, shed light on the inner workings of the Clinton campaign, suggest that CNN commentator Donna Brazile had shared audience questions with the Clinton campaign in advance of the town hall meetings, and contained excerpts from the Hillary Clinton speech on. They always know what the fuck the questions are going to be. Dead ass. That's such a dumb thing for people to say. Dead ass. It was my New Year's resolution. Yeah. Do you not get it? Do you not get it? Did you not understand the explanation, or are you just that stupid? I just don't like how you say J's. Like, if you can't say J, Whatever you're saying is probably wrong. No, it's because they're cowards and they use that to target my page. You think if I wasn't on a live feed, I'd still be saying the same thing? Come on. This is what I mean. This is that kind of like, you can't argue the stuff I'm saying, so you're bringing up some trivial bullshit. Your argument is semantics right now? You don't like a word? Never mind the fucking pedophilia. Never mind the genocide. Never mind the mutilation and molestation at birth or 8 days after birth. Never mind all that shit. It's you don't like that I don't say a word because, there's a reason. But it's all trivial stuff I care about because I agree with the other stuff. Yeah, right. You're focused on one nonsense thing. I'm trying to talk about the Podesta emails and you want to talk about some dumb nonsense. And again, it's because I don't say the word to stop my feed from getting fucked with. That doesn't, you wouldn't understand that? It would call it hate speech. Exactly. That they've done this brilliant job of making it that they're how they're referred to, a J, can either be just a normal word or it's hate speech depending on how it's interpreted. Nobody else has that. It doesn't work that way. But for them, it's just another protection to keep us from talking about them. And the fact that you can't wrap your head around that is kind of crazy. I got banned on Instagram for saying, right, there you go. So what do you think the problem is? You think it's because you brought up Biden or because you said the other word? Because I guarantee you could make all kinds of Biden statements and it would never get blocked. Good morning to you as well. Proponents of the Pizzagate. Oh, wait. It's town hall meetings in advance. These from Wall Street firms. Oh. Proponents of the Pizzagate conspiracy theory falsely claim the emails contained coded messages which supported their conspiracy theory. Data theft. I'm trying to find authenticity. Trying to find what the email said. Publication. Wait, contents? Let's see. Maybe contents. Some of the emails provide insight into some of the inner workings of the Clinton campaign. For example, the email shows a discussion among campaign manager Robbie Mook and top aides about possible campaign themes and slogans. Other emails revealed insights about the internal conflicts in the Clinton Foundation. The BBC published an article detailing 18 revelations revealed from their internal review of the leaked emails, including excerpts from Clinton's speeches. The emails contain... One of the emails released on October 12, 2016 include Podesta's iCloud account password. Come on, this is dumb. Some were emails that Barack Obama and Podesta had exchanged. Clinton's Wall Street speeches. Like, why? See, this is what it is. They're doing everything they can. There's only one reason why people are here. They want to know what the fucking one email said, but they're, here, we have, Clinton's Wall Street speeches, discussions of Catholic religious activities, Democratic Party primary debate questions shared with Clinton campaign by Donald Brazil, Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and nothing. None of it's going to actually show what they look like. Let's see.
Very strange. I don't know.
Podesta emails. Let's see.
No, because he's still going through motions.
But that's the emails Pizzagate. Let me do that.
Dealing with people. That usually happens with a death. He shuts down. But
let's see.
He'll juggle it, but he doesn't really he's in a
damn it.
And doesn't remember shit. Because I'll talk to him after the fact, and he tells me.
Fuck. So, fake news. I mean, this is what they show. So the Podesta emails, That's a WikiLeaks one. Oh, well, this is WikiLeaks, so let's see. Chairman. God damn it, nope.
He didn't remember if he had slipped that in or not.
Okay. The PLOS, Pizzagate, began with the public release. Okay, don't want that. The Podesta emails. This is the 7 commandments of fake news. The New York Times. Hacked emails. Check out Politico's coverage. Let's see what Politico has to, if they'll actually show what those emails were. Down in Brazil, DNC staffers, Spiros, here are the anti-Clinton attacks from our own team. Clinton team apparently in Benghazi, anti-Trump, hard to defend, DOJ, can't consider it. Like this, like all of these are not the things that anybody would be looking this up for. Why is it so hard for me to find these things if there's no fucking connection there? Podesta wants to just Mills, Clinton, Wiserman, Schultz, compromise. I mean, it's just keeps going. Rolling Stone is ready to talk about Pizzagate. RollingStone.com. I can't read it, apparently. Okay, get out of here. She sits on the phone. Okay. John Podesta has given it a lot of thought and believes the best way to deal with the trolls is to ignore him. His wife Mary, however, takes a different approach. When angry people call their home in the middle of the night, she has a conversation with them. She sits on the phone and talks to them, which is disconcerting actually to most of the people who are calling just to leave a nasty message on your voicemail, Podesta says. When somebody actually engages with them, they say, why are you doing this? They fold pretty quickly, but she has more patience than I do. Right, I bet that's what it is. I know when I called the J that's supposedly in charge of Airtay Engineering, where Brian Mullen works, and then he called me back. I was shocked that he called me back. It's all in my videos. You can go look for that one. But he said something stupid, and then he hung up. I wanted to talk. And just simply, what are we talking about? Don't, Karen, so many of these are trolls. Why even bother? If a ban received, then why encourage them to do the same? Just inquiry, no disrespect. You're right. There you go.
Or then agree. Like you said, you probably won't see that term.
Yeah, but I do that show. Of course you do. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. That's what I always say. That was quite a call. Yeah, Karen saw that one. Podesta is easily forgiven for having little time for his... He's forgiven for it. Wait, let's see who wrote this. This is by Andy Kroll. What do you think? What do you think, Andy Kroll? Chinese? Japanese? Americanese?
I was thinking one of those damn Latinos.
It was a Latino.
That are from the
probably snuck over here, got a job, got some white person's job at Rolling Stone. So this isn't going to talk about it. All right, maybe if I can get the image, maybe images will show it. Here we go. Okay, so here is one of the emails. Oh, no. This is... Someone has your password. Hi, John. Someone just used your password to try to sign into your Google account. Details, Saturday, March 19th. Location, Ukraine. Is that part, that's not something I'm supposed to notice, that it's Ukraine? Google stopped this attempt immediately. But are we going to talk about the Ukraine part?
The snorks were the underwater guys, right?
Mm-hmm. I can reach out to David. Sent from my iPhone. I mean, where are the fucking emails? Come on, man.
Mike from Nashville, he got in a car
Why is this so goddamn difficult to find if it's not fucking true? Should be able to find the email. This is the stupid emails people say do this. Say this. They don't say that. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I want to know. Whatever happened to that one dude? Oh, what was his name? The one newscaster that did the story on Pizzagate and then disappeared for a year. And then when he came back, he was doing commercials for something and was like, I'll talk about it, but after you go sign up for this. Oh, what was his name? What the fuck was that? No, what the fuck was that name? I remembered it the other day. And what happened to that guy? Where the fuck did he go? Or is he just doing well now because he played along? I just don't understand why this is so fucking difficult. I mean, I guess I do understand it, but I'm saying if it's not true. And 2 times 2 is chicken. I am your stay. Oh, here's one. Let's see. It says Tina and Mike made it risotto round 2. No, that's not really one. Maybe it is. I don't know. This is so fucking goofy to me. Risotto, the saga, Pizzagate, the truth. I think this is really fucking telling.
So I took the liberty of rerouting the audio with the digital output for it. And I know my songs, man. That's more than I can say for your cop. Yeah. I learned my lesson on that front. Yes, I just have to stick the bins and this handyman in the hippest bar ain't even open yet.
Sucks that my fucking eyes don't work. We plan to heat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will Uber service to the transport of Ruby, Emerson, and almost 7, so you know there'll be some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure.
Recently divorced with one child, Laurel, who suggested that I mention that I'm going to be back in the city in a couple of months.
Is that what you suggested?
She's sure.
I'm sure. Your sister. Good.
Is this the ad? What the fuck is this? Oh my god. Second ad.
Earlier and more often.
Third ad.
Makes a world of difference.
Same ad. Third ad. Fourth ad.
Earn rewards earlier and more often.
Same ad over and over again. Oh, here we go. Podesta doing the Hitler thing. Sharon John Podesta. Third installments. This is dumb as shit. It's fucking insane that it's so hard to find these.
Yeah.
Oh, why can't I remember that reporter's name? God damn it.
Did you feel that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Dog. Tree branch. People outside aren't reacting like anything happened, so I'm not worried about it. Alright.
You gonna eat that, or you're just gonna move it around on your plate? I'm still trying to find the other 4 eggs in the pound of bacon I normally have. You said you wanted to lose weight. Do I have to lose my mind too? Anyway, back to Belvin. I need you to verify where he was from the moment he left his house to the exact time of the crash.
See if it'll pop up.
I'm Beth Gowler. You don't remember me? No. I'm the wife of the man you killed.
Corey Feldman claims Hollywood has another dirty secret. Members of the Royal House aren't all human. Who are the Illuminati? Blah, blah, blah. I can't find it. What the fuck was that guy's name?
Yeah, okay. Well, not really.
Now we're talking Jeffrey Dahmer and all. That's what's coming up? Who did that news report?
I don't mean that. You and Uncle Jim made dangerous jobs. But money and I'm sure that your mom might not make it home from work. Yeah. Look, if I could
Oh, man.
bring your mom back, you know I would. But I can't. So you stuck with me, kiddo. So I'm not going anywhere.
Fatally, Pizzagate gunman fatally shot by police during traffic stop in North Carolina, January 9th, 2025. He was a Pizzagate gunman. Wait a minute. This is the guy that... Wait. The man who opened fire at a Pizzagate restaurant in Washington, D.C. has been shot dead by police during a traffic stop 9 years after the incident made the Pizzagate conspiracy theory famous. Get the fuck out of here.
Hello, Frank. My apologies for the inconvenience.
Wow.
Please, Frank,
What was that fucking guy's name?
I'm honored. Weary, but honored. You had a ring, I would kiss. Come on, Kevin. Let's
Are you looking for the email about dropping the handkerchief? I'm looking for the hot dogs email. I'm looking for all those emails. The ones between Obama and Podesta. There's a bunch of them where they use all those fucking goofy words. But what a lot of them are in that news report that one dude did. I believe he was out of Texas. And he was known as like a conspiracy kind of guy. He would tackle those, but he was an official guy. He was on a news station. And then after he did that, he released another story. Like he released another video saying, or maybe it was a post on something saying, "I'm gonna be going dark for a while. Everything's okay, but I'm gonna disappear for a while. I'll let you guys know when I can," something or other. Took down all his shit and everything. And then, like almost a year to the date later, he came back out of nowhere. And he promised that he was going to talk about it, but then he tried to get you to sign up for like some online poker place or some shit.
What's happening? When you put the needs of an individual before the needs of the church.
YouTube lets me post links all the time, but that's not what I need. I need the name of the guy. What was his fucking name? God damn it. Keeps coming, Ben something keeps coming in my name, but I don't think that's what it was. Fuck.
But I need your help, Frank.
You would think if I just looked up Pizzagate news story, news report, it would come up.
Take any more of your time. I look forward to hearing from you.
Let's see, maybe it's 2016. I can put that in there, that'll help. Nope, it just all keeps going back to this gunman. The gunman that was killed. Man opens fire in restaurant. Hillary Clinton warns fake news can have real consequences. An astonishing number of people believe Pizzagate. Hot dog equals boy, right? And Ben Swan, there you go. Nice. Thank you so much. Oh, look at that. He got it. It's the douchebag of all people, too. Oh, sweet. Fucking A. I was right. I was surprised. I knew it was Ben something. I can't believe my memory served me that well. Ben Swan. Wow. All right, this is the thing that got him fired.
It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area.
Wait, think about it. Why didn't it come up when I put Pizzagate news story in? Why did I have to put his fucking name in to get the story? This is a legitimate. This is like a Fox. This is a regular news story. Oh, the Ashton Kutcher one. That fake ass bullshit where that chick behind him kept laughing the whole time.
Place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support the story? I've got to warn you, what we're going to talk about tonight will be disturbing to some people. But this is a reality check you won't see anywhere else. Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. In all, WikiLeaks dumped around 50,000 email messages, and it was from those emails that
I want you guys to be able to read them.
That may be part of a child sex trafficking ring come from. And to be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia. That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Self-described online investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles. So how did a DC pizza parlor get pulled into the story? Well, again, read any mainstream report and they indicate that Comet Ping Pong Pizza was somehow linked to this fake story and has no relation to anyone involved. But the truth is, that's not true either. What media is ignoring is that the Comet Ping Pong Pizza place is actually referenced in the Podesta emails at least a dozen or so times, and that the owner of that place, James Alfantis, is a friend of John Podesta. He was actually named, this is kind of strange, by GQ magazine as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Yes, we're talking about a pizza parlor owner. Now let's talk facts here. There is no solid evidence that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is being used to run a child sex trafficking ring. But there are some very strange connections between Comet Ping Pong Pizza and a second pizza place 2 doors over, Besta Pizza, and the accusations of pedophilia. Now this is where things start to get strange when you research this story. Now to begin, I need to show you a 2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI, contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, that's the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly,
accidental.
The Besta
Totally.
logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle. Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alphantis, is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. Two of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs that do joke about pedophilia, and the band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there, that same boy lover symbol. It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code symbol for boy love. As I said, there are some...
Look at him keep looking off the fucking camera like his managers are pissed.
...relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America. Well, since Pizzagate began to blow up online, he has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private. But an archive search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and words with strange and disturbing images associated with them. Look, to the point where we can't show you those pictures. We're not even going to describe them to you because some viewers would find it too disturbing to share on TV. Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago. He was referred to by the judge as a serial child molester. According to the Washington Post, visitors to Tony Podesta's home in Falls Church got an eyeful when they walked into a bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes.
Gross.
And to be clear, that just begins to scratch the surface of how strange some of this stuff is. And bear in mind, we can't get into a lot of the real details of it because of the limits on broadcasting this on television. But it is some very strange stuff. Now keep in mind, again, there is no proof here that there is a child sex ring being operated out of a DC pizza parlor. Investigators have already proven there's nothing to the story, right? Well, actually, no. And that's what you need to know. For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place? That's Reality Check.
Yeah, I'm making it all up. Everybody's look at how that was really, I never noticed before how uncomfortable that was. How you could, that there were people around him like, dude, you're killing your career. Ben Swan quits. Let's see if that comes up. I want to see the thing where he...
Well, thank you for your restraint.
That's the case she was young.
Yeah. 9 years ago, her husband, Norm Gower, was a pro bono lawyer with a client named Tina Araya. She was a heroin addict who was arrested for stealing a car. Gower got obsessed with her, went to her place one night, attacked her. Her screams alerted the neighbors. He fled. Trial took 1 day. Jury took 1 hour. Acted as his own attorney and was in waiting.
Hey, welcome back everyone, I am Matt. All of his videos of Reality Check have been removed. Back everyone, I am Matt Larson, and today while I was looking through some of my YouTube subscriptions, just seeing how things are going, I noticed that the Ben Swan page, where he featured his videos Reality Check, all of his videos of Reality Check have been removed. So I went on Facebook and I looked at his Facebook fan page, and he commented also on there talking about how if you want to see Reality Check videos or any of his other videos, you're going to have to go over to Fox 19, which is his network that he works for. And the wheels kind of got turning in my head, and it...
The artist? Yeah. You know her? I know who she is.
U.S. President Donald Trump declared a national emergency over Huawei, HAUWEI which he has deemed as a national security threat. On the contrary, the Prism Gate scandal has already smashed the real hammer of the U.S. government's eavesdropping.
First of all, the idea that the Trump administration, by doing this, is going to protect Americans from being spied on through their phones is laughable. That Huawei is a long way ahead of everyone else in terms of developing 5G. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has said that they want the U.S. to lead the way. The problem is the U.S. is way behind, years behind in terms of 5G technology, and Huawei is the company that's leading the way on that. So you remove them, yeah, you absolutely have inferior products, and you're way behind in this space.
I can't find that email or that. It's just more of that shit where. Yeah.
Headlines were made by the FBI just a few weeks ago when they thwarted an attempted terror attack on the New York Federal Reserve. Tonight,
yeah, I want to see the thing where he like the Pizzagate aftermath. And Swan. Let's just pull Pizzagate back up and see if it gives us anything. Otherwise, I'm gonna bounce.
And that's the last time I saw my husband really alive. March 23rd, 2008.
Before we go to break, I do want to address something head on. Some of you have heard about this. Some of you are talking about it tonight. Our colleague Ben Swan, who would normally be by my side tonight, is no longer employed here. That announcement made earlier today by executives here at the television.
Who'd she just look up at?
Effective immediately. We released a statement thanking Ben for his contributions and wishing him well. That is certainly true. And by now, you know how we feel about transparency around here. So let me be transparent in my feelings for my former co-anchor and indeed my friend. I enjoyed so much sitting next to Ben for nearly 3 years. I think you saw it. The chemistry between us, it was undeniable. And even when we disagreed, I enjoyed the challenge. So yes, I wish Ben the very best, but I also feel good about this television station and indeed what we'll continue to build each and every night as a team. We march on. We're right back.
Let's see. When was this? Speaks out. Hillary Clinton addresses the Pizzagate hoax. I bet.
And I think one of the most powerful, clearest,
and of course, look at the woman
most persuasive chapters in the book is is the one about bots and trolls and Russians and fake news. And you begin that section of the book. I know one of your favorite books is Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky, and you have a line from Dostoevsky that begins this section of the book: "When reason fails, the devil helps." And then, of course, you do talk about trolls, bots, fake news, conspiracy theories, and my favorite term, from Russia with no love. But in all seriousness, this is an incredibly clear connecting of dots based on what evidence and this, and I did want to do that, so thank you. If I could just say a word, because we're in Washington and this horrible chain of events happened here, but this is a terrible example of what can be done by people who are malicious, unacquainted with the truth, and pursuing their own agendas, whether it be commercial advantage, partisan advantage, or any other goal. For those of you who don't follow it or may not remember it, when John Podesta's emails were stolen, I hate the word hacked, they were stolen. They were stolen by the Russians.
Oh, by the Russians.
And they were then, through cutouts, given to WikiLeaks.
Through cutouts.
Betty Broderick. which is nothing more than a tool of Putin and the Kremlin. And certainly people associated with Trump knew about it because in August, Roger Stone was tweeting about how John Podesta would find himself, you know, in the barrel some point ahead. So on October 7th, one of the more infamous days in the campaign.
Well, that's weird, huh? She had her own October 7th. This is 7 years ago, so this is...
Day started with the Director of Homeland Security, the Secretary, Jay Johnson, the Director of National Intelligence, Jim Clapper, saying that with high confidence, they knew the Russians had been behind those hacks, those thefts of emails. That happened in the morning.
They're thefts of his emails saying horribly weird shit. Okay. So that's not the point here.
Then the Hollywood access tape broke a few hours later, and within 1 hour, such an amazing coincidence, WikiLeaks dumped all of John Podesta's personal emails. Now,
it's not a coincidence.
If you read those emails, I think it's a little embarrassing to admit they're very anodyne, even boring. But because they were, the way that the Russians and their allies, whoever they turn out to be.
I'm a Russian ally. That's where it's all coming from, Russia. Russia's been doing this.
Were able to...
Yay, let's clap again. Yay.
Were able to generate constant interest really was two factors. One, they sent the press on these wild goose chases all over the place. Oh, here comes 100 more. Here comes 1,000 more. Oh my gosh. And then, of course, the other was that they created the illusion of transparency. If you think you're getting something from, you know, sort of behind the screen, maybe it's more legitimate, even though you're being played by a bunch of Russians.
Oh, but if you're doing it, it's okay. She's literally talking about what she is doing right now.
Psychology of it was brilliant. And of course, it's part of the Russian propaganda effort, something called active measures, which...
Like this is part of the anti-Russian propaganda measures. Maybe.
They've used in many other settings, not just in our election. Well, you can only go so far with read these emails and listen to people, as in every campaign you can imagine, debate about what to do when and who says what and all of that.
You know what's funny? Despite all of this and everything that was being leaked about Hillary at the time and all the horrible shit, she still won by 2.7 million votes. They still had to trick her out.
So they had to be weaponized. They had to have elements plucked out.
She's not saying anything.
Perverted in a way that would be hard to imagine, and then sent back out into the, you know, cyber virtual world. So in one of the emails, John Podesta is talking about pizza. He's Italian and Greek, I mean, you know, and a very good cook. And yeah, his risotto recipe is still there if you want to see it. And I'm sure there's something very nefarious about that risotto recipe. So all of a sudden, John's writing about pizza, and one of these really, I consider, evil people.
Evil.
In the media world and in the online world, out of whole cloth make up this story.
Out of what?
That John Podesta and I are running a child trafficking ring in the basement of the Comet Pizza Parlor.
That's not what it was.
There is no basement. Yeah, there is no basement. Now, you would think
that's not what it
would
is.
be
That's not what it was.
laughing like crazy, shaking their head.
Like it wasn't. It was in the basement of the other place. The Comet Ping Pong Pizza was just a situation. But look at how she's doing the exact thing I'm saying about what gets done to me, right? She's arguing in a way that makes her argument legitimate, but she's not actually arguing against what the thing is.
Heads. But if you migrate that crazy story to Facebook posts, to news outlets, there are people who will believe that, including this very unfortunate young man in North Carolina who believed it. It was meant to be believed to influence voting. Even I have to say I don't believe it was meant to be believed to influence somebody to pick up an AR-15 and drive from North Carolina to Washington to liberate the imaginary children from the imaginary basement of the pizza parlor.
That's not what happened.
But in came this young man believing that he was on a mission because he saw it on Facebook, he saw it in other places online, he saw it in, quote, news outlets. And so he was there on a mission of rescue. People could have gotten killed. He shot his automatic weapon off inside this pizza parlor.
And no one.
The street where Politics and Prose is
The only victim was
shut down. There was an active crime scene because people who cared more about weaponizing information, making negative stories up than the truth, than facts, or even public safety.
Yeah,
and
but
certainly
we didn't get that.
any concern about children was non-existent. They
This
were
is-
determined to
This is years later.
stimulate, to propagate the attitudes that would grab some people in some states, some congressional districts, some towns and
Lots.
counties, so that they would be saying, well, gosh, you know, if Hillary Clinton and her campaign chairman are doing something like that, they should go to jail. I can't vote for that. That's the worst example, but there are so many other examples that were the same pattern, from stealing to giving to WikiLeaks to propagating to weaponizing into somebody's Google chain, into somebody's Facebook post.
Partially.
And I think it's one of the most serious challenges we face going forward in politics, not just at the presidential level, but up and down, because if we don't get a handle on information that is not just controversial, protected by the First Amendment, but aimed at spreading lies to the extent that they can cause behavior like we saw in this terrible instance, it will not stop. And I'm glad that the Congress and others are looking at Facebook and Twitter and
So I'm
Google.
not-
Was injured, and it keeps going. But the
So she's done that very well. Very well. She's very good at her job. That's why she was given the role she was given. And she's had tons of practice in spin. And she was probably prepped really well for this interview. She's selling a book. She's talking about a chapter in her book. But the thing is, why can't I find, if it's fake, why can't I find this fake stuff so I can see how stupid it is for myself and understand why it's so fake? Especially if it's just regular old emails. It shouldn't matter.
It's fake. They probably scrubbed it.
But that wasn't fake. What she's saying, oh, he was just talking about pizza. He wasn't talking about pizza like normal people talk about pizza. And then when they're like the hot dogs thing and all that, like these are not normal emails. If I could find them and read them to you, then you would yourself be like, wow, that's really fucking weird. And then their pages and all the art that they had and all the connections they had to people who, like the one dude had pictures of teenage boys all over his house and naked teenage boys and like weird shit. Right, the gun control plug. But see, the thing is, gun control is a myth. It's just a distraction. They'll never take our guns away. You know why? Do you? Do you know why they'll never ever take our guns away?
It's in the Constitution.
Well, one, people would get mad, but two, I don't like it would definitely be difficult for them to do.
The NRA is a huge.
But two, it's because we're so good at killing each other. They like that we kill each other. That's why they let us have guns. So we can shoot the shit out of each other. So we can, so when they need to, they can provide a great distraction by saying there was a this kind of shooter or a that kind of shooter. Tomorrow I'm going to look up, like maybe if I remember, I'll look up the grocery store shooter. And when you understand the connections that shooter, like that whole story, you would think it would be cut and dry, but that kid should have been in prison. He shouldn't have been able to be out committing the shooting. He should have been in prison already because he had already been caught with guns and bombs and shit on him a year earlier. And he was let out. They said that the word came down from above to let him out. They didn't really know why, but they had to let him out. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Go ahead and get your free download, www.the-bilderberg.group.com. I'm hoping we have a bunch of new songs coming out soon. I've been sending to Charles, so he needs to make them. But yeah, no. Good. I'm gonna put the link to Hollywoodism because Hollywoodism is the greatest. The tell. It's how you know. That like everything. It explains everything if you allow it to. So go watch Hollywoodism, and then I'm gonna leave a link to our Facebook page so you can go check out the music videos. But people always, what do you suggest we do? What do you suggest we do? We have to unify before we can do anything. So I'm trying to provide the platform to unify. I'm giving you music. I give it to you. It's free. And I do my feed. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I can't don some fucking spandex costume and start flying around, fucking with these people. We have to get our voice to be stronger. We have to have one strong voice. And the only way we do that is if we go against the one thing that they seem to want more than anything, and that's my censorship. So like, share, sub, do all that shit, help the fuck out. I don't know what else you want. I can't give you any more. I give you all I can. I give you my art. I give you my thoughts. It's all for free. Do something with it. Have a great day. Pedophiles, kill yourself.